Kinstretch rock stars. Let's go through a very quick wrist specific Kinstretch class. So we're gonna do a lot of wrist cars in different positions, different variations, and then mainly just focus on wrist extension because that's the biggest limitation that people have when it comes to their wrist. So let's go ahead and start with the wrist car in a closed fist position, palm facing up. Make that wrist car as big as you can. Let's go in, down, down, out, up, and in. And we'll just do 2 in each direction. Make it as big as you can. Fingers stay tight. Draw a huge circle with that wrist. Opposite direction. Make it as big as you can. Elbow stays in tight toward your side. And then once you get 2, let's go ahead and open the hand up and draw a wrist car 2 in each direction with the palm again facing up, forearm facing up, and fingers stay straight the entire time. You might notice that this makes your wrist car a little bit smaller. Very, very common, especially when you go down into wrist extension because now you have all of your finger tendons and your forearm flexors on stretch. Opposite direction. Let's do 2 in each direction. Good. Go ahead and flip your palm over. Palm stays down. Again, with the wrist car, you're not moving through the forearm or through the elbow. It's just the wrist. Let's go up, down, in, and up. Elbow stays in tight to your side again. If you start doing things through the elbow or moving the elbow away from the side, again, that's not the wrist moving, that's other things. I already lost count. Let's go opposite direction. One more. Beautiful. Palm facing down, fingers straight. We'll go 2 in each direction. Again, just moving through the wrist, drawing a big circle. Don't push through any pain, don't push through any pinching, but make that car as big as possible. Opposite direction. Good. Opposite side, palm facing up with the fist. Clench that fist. We're going to go 2 cars in each direction. Don't move through the elbow. Elbow stays in tight again toward your side. Last rep. Opposite direction. Good. Fingers straight. You might notice again that this is a little bit smaller. Totally fine. Opposite direction. Don't move through that elbow. Good. Flip it over. Hands now facing down. Close that fist. Clench the fist. 2 in each direction. Reverse. Sorry, I keep getting distracted. I'm in my office right now, and there are 2 kids that are just about to come through our office wall. They keep nailing it, and it is distracting me. So I'm losing track of my counting to number 2 or number 3. It's terrible. Fingers straight, drawing big circles, elbow in tight still. I think that was 2. So hopefully kids don't come flying through a wall. Reverse the direction. Beautiful. That was 2, I know it for a fact. That was open chain wrist car. Let's go through a closed chain wrist car. A closed chain wrist car would look like you being on hands and knees and then drawing a circle over a fixed wrist, okay? So hands are gonna stay down. You're gonna spread your fingers apart. You're gonna grip the ground. You're gonna shift your body weight backwards to one side, translate your weight onto the front part of your wrist. Make it as big as you can, pain-free. Don't push through any pain or any pinching. Let's do 3 or 5 of these. We'll see how I feel after 3. 2, and if I can count to 5 today, gee whiz. Again, stay away from pinching and pain, okay? So as we go into wrist extension, a lot of people will feel pinching on this side of their wrist. Don't do that. Make your car smaller if you have to. Fight for control. Elbows stay straight. Let's go in the opposite direction. All you should really be feeling here is stretching and then muscles contracting. Okay? So you're actively using your forearms and your wrist to pull you into extension and then push you into flexion. Pull yourself over. Push yourself away. Yes, my whole body is moving, but I'm trying to initiate the movement with my wrist. Let's do one more. I've totally lost count again, guys. I'm so sorry that I don't know how to count to 3 or 5 today, or 2. It's so silly. But you get the gist. That is wrist cars in a closed chain position. Really, when it comes to cars, go through the amount of repetitions that feel good for you. If it's more, it's more. If it's less, it's less. Let's go into PAILs and rails now for wrist extension. So wrist extension is this position. And when you work on wrist extension, a lot of the times, especially when you go through PAILs, rails, this will clear up the pinching or the jamming that you experience in the back of those wrists. So you can go into a wrist extension stretch in this manner, or you can go in it in this manner, or this position. Okay, I don't really like this position as much as I do here because it's easier for me to walk my hands forward and then walk my body backwards and find that good stretch in my wrist flexors, the top side of my forearms, the forearm area that is pointing away from my body. So from here, when we do typical PAILs rails, you would hang out for 2 minutes. I'm not going to make you do 2 minutes, but let's hang out for another like 15 seconds, just stretching. Everything is relaxed, and then we'll just go through a couple rounds of PAILs rails contractions. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So a PAILs contraction would be you driving your fingers and your wrist into wrist flexion, down into the ground. Because the ground is there, the ground isn't going to move, your fingers aren't going to move, so it's an isometric. You're just pushing and holding. Work out the pushing as hard as you can. Hold it for 10 seconds. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Rails contraction would be trying to come deeper into the stretch or trying to pull your fingers in your wrist into more wrist extension. Trying to pull your fingers up to your forearms and your wrist off the ground. Hold it. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. If you have pain or pinching in that closing angle side, so the back side of your hand, back out of the stretch, okay, and then go through your PAILs rails. I don't have any pain or pinching back here. I'm going to go right into a PAILs contraction again. Find the stretch, PAILs contraction, push the fingers and wrists down into the ground, hold it for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Pull the fingers up to your forearms. Hold it for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then slowly relax out of that. And you should feel all of the stuff burning. So you should feel stretching here. And when you're doing the rails contraction or lifting off the fingers and going into more, or wrist and fingers into wrist extension, you should feel this stuff contracting and burning because it's really, really working hard. Again, that's very important because think about some of the exercises that we do. Push-ups, handstand push-ups, handstands in general. Our wrists need at least 90 degrees of wrist extension, usually even more, because when we go down into a push-up, those wrists are moving into more extension, more than 90 degrees of extension. If you don't have that wrist extension, you're probably jamming your joints. Okay, that's not good, not good. The other thing is you might not have good control of your wrist extension, which is the next couple exercises that we're going to work on. So the way that you can work on controlling your wrist extension is finding how much passive range of motion you have with wrist extension. So let's get into this position. So we were just stretching here. Let's go hands facing forwards this time, or fingers facing forward. Find that stretch. So walk your body forwards, elbows stay straight. You should feel a stretch on the back side of your forearms. And then from here, what we're gonna do is try to contract this stuff on this side of our forearm and try to raise those fingers and wrists toward your forearms. Nothing is going to move. So what we're gonna do instead is lean our body back and translate our body back and try to lift those fingers up off the ground and hold 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then you should feel all of this stuff contracting, okay, burning because it's working hard. We're trying to maintain this angle. So we're finding the passive range of motion, maintaining this angle. If there is a piece of tape right here, that tape should not come apart, okay? We're maintaining that angle, translating our body, and then lifting, holding, 3, 2, and 1, okay? Let's do both arms at the same time. Let's see if I can show you from a different angle. So find the stretch on the backside of your forearms. Contract the opposite stuff. Try to maintain that angle. Translate backwards. Hover off the ground. 3, 2, 1. Find the stretch. Contract the stuff. Don't let the angle change. Hover backwards. Translate backwards. Hover. 3, 2, 1. Good. Forwards. Contract. Translate back. Don't let the angle change. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Let's go one more for round 5. Find the stretch, contract the stuff, translate back, don't let the angle change, hold 3, 2, and 1. And you should feel a good freaking burn on the backside of your forearms because that was good work. Another way you can do it is in this position right here in wrist extension. By driving your hands down, this is putting you into full passive range of motion for wrist extension. You can drive your elbows up a little bit more. It'll push you into more range. Again, you shouldn't feel any pinching or jamming on this side of your wrist. You should only feel stretching, if anything, through that side of your wrist. So go ahead and assume that position. What we're gonna do is try to contract this stuff to pull ourselves into wrist extension. And we're gonna take our hands away while that stuff's contracted. Try not to let this angle change, okay? So pull your hands away, don't let that angle change. You can see I'm not the greatest at this. Hold it for 3, 2, 1, push right back into it. Pull hands away, keep that stuff contracted, don't let that angle change. 3, 2, 1, push them right back. Let's do 3 more. 3, 2, 1. Again, contract, don't let the angle of wrist extension change. 3, 2, 1, last breath. Contract, hold 3, 2, and 1. And you'll feel all of this stuff on the backside of your forearms burning because that was a good little wrist extension workout. So if you guys found that you are lacking wrist extension, go through more wrist extension PAILs reels. If you guys found that you have good wrist extension, passive range of motion, but you struggle maintaining that angle, you need to work on some more passive range holds or some passive range liftoffs or in range liftoffs. So that's a little short sample of a quick and easy wrist specific Kinstretch class. I hope you guys enjoy it. Peace out.